In this third and final part of the introduction, we will see how you would describe the feedback structure of the 16PF questionnaire, explain in non-technical terms how the results are interpreted, and highlight how there are no good or bad profiles.
So what I'd like to do now is just to quickly run through the feedback structure of the 16PF so you have an idea of how we interpret the results from the questionnaire. So firstly, just to emphasise, there's these 5 broad areas. They're called the global factors, and they're made up of the actual primary factors. Okay, these are the 16PF factors that we concentrate on. And what you'll see is that some of them are actually repeated. So, for example, warmth here looks at the level of attentiveness you have in others, whilst here, in thinking style, it's really about the extent you would consider others in your decision-making process.
Okay.
Do you have any questions so far?
No, that all sounds great, Ken.
So what we do is we compare your responses to a large representative sample of the population. So it's representative in the terms of men and women, different ethnic and racial backgrounds, and also different employment status, also from different areas of the actual country. With those results, what we find is you may have come out, for example, here in the mid-range, and that means that your responses were typical to 68% of the population. What we find is if your results are a bit more distinct, you may come out here on the left-hand side, or you may come out on the right-hand side. And what we have here on the left-hand side, so that would be roughly about 16% of people would fall there,
Okay.
and roughly about 16% of people would fall here on the right-hand side. Another way of looking at it is 1/6 on the left-hand side, 2/3 in the middle, 1/6 on the right. How does that sound at the moment?
So it all sounds good.
So one thing that I just really want to point out is that what I'll be talking about in relation to your results is whether they come out on the left-hand side, in the mid-range, or in the right-hand side. So I won't be talking about what is right or wrong about your personality.
So there are no right or wrong answers.
Exactly. What I will be talking about though is how well your profile might fit with the sales management role. So really it's about suitability.
So this is all really about the profile fitting whether I fit the sales manager's role.
Yes, exactly. And also just to emphasise that it will be used alongside all the other information from the other assessments. So we'll be looking at all of that together as evidence of how well you fit the role. One thing as well I just want to highlight to you, when I'm actually providing the results, I'm actually going to show you a range. Okay? So I'm not going to show you an exact point. And the reason that I do that is that we know that if you took the questionnaire again, you may come out just slightly different, and we're just taking that into account. As I go through the actual profile, I'll remind you of that and highlight that as we go through.
Great.
So finally, do you have any other questions?
No, none at all, Ken. Just looking forward to the feedback.
Okay, that's great. Let's get started.